Yo, what's going on, man? Today is May the 8th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we're live on Twitter. We're also live on YouTube as well. Show is always presented to you guys by OzJam. And I haven't said this in a while, but if you guys are watching on Twitter or X, make sure you you join the YouTube community, and vice versa. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure that you follow me over on X or Twitter as well. We have one game on the NBA slate for today, so it shouldn't be a super long show. And we'll jump into a quick recap to get things started. Yesterday, I put the short list down at the bottom because I said I wanted Boston minus the 11.5. If just kind of wanted to wait on Jared Allen's status, I shouldn't have waited. If I didn't wait, the plays that I gave out yesterday, you guys see the short list. 4-0. Boston team total gets there super easy. Boston covers the game. They pull away late, as I mentioned in yesterday's show. The 11.5 to 12 was easy money as well, even though they did struggle in the first half. And then OKC minus the 3.5, man, not looking to bet against this team at home. They also go over their team total yesterday and kind of smoked Dallas in the first half and then followed up in the second half as well. The official play was the Boston first half, though. The reason why I went first half instead of full game was because the number was just getting too big. This number opened at 10.5 on Sunday after the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Orlando Magic. So I didn't want to give out a super stale number. So I went first half because it hadn't moved, and we did cash on it yesterday. So 1-0 yesterday. Always looking to kind of build on that. So only one game on the board for today. As always, I am still giving out t-shirts. Yesterday we had two winners. Mark A was the winner of the Mavs and the Thunder. He predicted I think it was 117 and like 110. We didn't get a lot of predictions. A couple people picked the Dallas Mavericks, but we didn't get a lot of predictions on this game specifically. But Mark A, shoot me either email me at ChrisBeCappinn 2Ps2Ns at gmail.com and let me know your address, your size of the t-shirt that you want and what color you want, or shoot me a DM on Twitter with all that information. And then for the Cavs and the Celtics game, it was Mark Navarez /man123. Predicted Boston to win 112-97. He was the closest in that prediction. So Mark A and Mark Navarez, man123. Both of you guys either shoot me a DM on Twitter with your size, the size of the shirt that you would like, the color you would like, your address, and I'll get those sent off in the mail to you guys. And appreciate the members for joining in. You guys can do the same thing again as always. Pick the correct size in the correct total the correct side in the correct total for tonight's game between the New York Knickerbockers and the Indiana Pacers. Like I said, the winner will be announced tomorrow. One guess per game. First guess is your only guess, and then the entry must be made before tip-off, of course, as well. So before we get into today's show, let's go through the comments real quick. Little Nano Venerio says, "Good morning, Chris. Everything on the short list hit." Yeah, I like those looks a lot yesterday. I really, really did. There go Mark. Mark already in the chat. What's up, Mark? He says, "Good morning, everyone. Nice day yesterday. Glad you got some cash, Mark." And if you're still watching, definitely shoot either email me or DM me on Twitter so I can get your information to you. KOD says, "Good morning, Chris. Good morning, House." Chill says, "Can't wait for the WNBA. Done with the NBA. My Lakers been gone." I feel like this is well too. The NBA is good though. I love the NBA. I love the playoffs. It's high intensity basketball. And if you're on the East Coast like myself, man, you're staying up watching some of these late games. It can be rough, especially when you're getting up super early like I am on a regular basis. What's up, Tasha? She's in the chat. Dom says, "Let's get to work on the." He said, "Let's go." You got me yesterday with the Celtics and the Thunder. Alex likes the Knicks. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Derek says he missed Tatum prop by half a point. Tatum looked like, man, he looked terrible. I would expect a big bounce back game from Tatum in game number 2. He did not look good in that game yesterday. Not really at all. Jaylen Brown kind of carried him yesterday. What up to my guy Jester? What up, Derek? He says, "What up, though?" All right, let's get into the game. What up, Eric? Appreciate you for tapping in. David, my brother, he says WNBA on the way. Yeah, I got a chance to watch a little bit of a little bit of the storm and a little bit of the Liberty in the Sky yesterday, man. The Liberty, the Sky gonna play hard this year. I can tell. New coach, a couple new players, Lindsey Allen over there. They're definitely gonna play hard. I know that the Liberty were short-handed yesterday, but they got smoked. They lost that game by 48 points last night. But that's not what we're here for. Let's see what else. Oh, so David got some predictions in the chat already. I'll make sure I write this one down. Oh, Mark says both of those are his. Okay. Well, just send me your t-shirt sizes, Mike. What's up, Trace? Appreciate you for being here as well. He says he hit yesterday the Celtics first quarter, first half in the trifecta spot. Mom's just the best. Says, where's the ChrisBeCappinn bobbleheads? I haven't got the bobbleheads. Do not have bobbleheads. Maybe it's something I'll look into. What up, Jimmy? He says, good morning, Chris and fam. Shout out to Ski Profit, man. We cashed on the Celtics first half spread. Yeah, I remember Cal told me Ski was on the first half as well. So yeah, it was a cash all the way around. And Justin says he's gonna be in Centersville from Friday to Monday. I am not close to Centersville at all, Justin. That's like really, really far down south. And I'm more central, so it's probably still about 2.5 hours. But yeah, if you're gonna be in VA, shoot me a DM. We can see what we can make happen, Justin, for sure. Especially with it being, I think it's tonight's the only night in the NBA where it's only one game. The rest of the week, I think all the way through the weekend is we have 2 games. So let's get into that one game that we have for today. Of course, this slide was not supposed to be here. We got the Pacers and the Knicks. 4.5 is the number on most books. There are some 5s out there available as well. And the total opened a lot higher than the last total. Remember, it was 215, I think it was, and it went up to 217.5. And now you see it flew over the total as well. Went up all the way up to it's all the way up to 222.5 points. So we'll adjust the total in a second, but let's get into a couple angles that I'm looking at for this game. So first and foremost, we got to mention the injury report. Mitchell Robinson is listed out in this game. He had a stress injury to his left ankle. He'll be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. So they will not have the services of Mitchell Robinson for the entirety of the rest of this series. So looking into the game, man, first off, the first thing that kind of came to my mind was I really like backing the Pacers off a loss. And it was the way that they lost too that just kind of makes me feel like this is the Pacers spot. So I'll, just kind of letting you guys know I'm only looking towards the Pacers in this game. Have I played them yet? No. But a couple different things that kind of stood out to me here. So on the left-hand side, there's a here you guys can see is that, I don't know if that's actually, hold on, let's see if this is working. All right, so here you guys can see this query. You guys probably can't see it because there's so many games, but this is the Pacers off a loss this season. 26-12 straight up, 25-11-2 against the spread. This team typically bounce back, and if you, I'm not sure if you guys are looking at a big screen, you can see the wins in a row as well. And the numbers over here to the right-hand side, right? Off a loss, 26-12 straight up, 25-11-2 against the spread, including 10-0 straight up and against the spread since March the 5th. This is the role that you want to take the Pacers in coming off a loss. They're 8-3 straight up, 7-4 against the spread when they're facing a team that they are previously facing, right? So these back-to-back matchups, and 5-0 straight up and against the spread if they previously lost to that opponent. This speaks to Rick Carlisle's adjustments, right? I think he's one of the more underrated coaches. He gets his team fired up, especially coming off a loss. We know the Pacers are not a great defensive team, but they typically tend to play a little bit better defense when they're coming off a loss as well. And then I looked at that same thing for the New York Knicks, right? Knicks 1-3 straight up, 0-4 against the spread when they're facing the same opponent, and they won the previous game. So this goes, to the Philadelphia series as well. Every time they would win one, they wouldn't cover the next game, or they would lose outright. So yeah, I like this. I like both of these angles for the Pacers here. Also, let's talk about game one. This is probably why I should have started. Game one stats right here. You guys can see that it was a very, very high scoring game. Both teams shot north of 50%. Both teams shot the three-point ball pretty well, which I didn't expect from the New York Knicks. The Pacers shot 38% from the three-point line. The Knicks shot 47.8% from the three-point line. I don't think that that's going to replicate itself here. The Pacers are a much better three-point defense than that. They typically keep you off the line. They typically do not let you shoot a high percentage, and you typically can score at the rim. And then the other thing that really, really stood out to me was the New York Knicks had 22 points off 8 Indiana turnovers. That's a very, very high number when you think about the Pacers, who only allow, on average about 16 points off their turnovers per game. They actually finished 12th in that department on the season. So a couple outliers here, in my opinion, for this New York Knicks team, which also pushes me towards the Pacers. And I didn't even go into, the whole 2-minute report. The NBA already came out and said that, there was a moving screen that wasn't called on Dante DiVincenzo. Of course, the moving screen was called on Miles Turner, and that really decided the game, because after that, Dante DiVincenzo hits a three-pointer that really just, seals the game to put him up 3 with, a little bit of time left in the game. But the Pacers were in control of that game. They didn't cover the first quarter spread, but they ended up having a halftime lead, I think. And then, throughout the second half of that game, they were right there, tooth and nails. And if I can get 2 possessions with the Pacers, I think I got to take it here. I'm only looking towards the Indiana Pacers in this game, plus the 5. I think, a couple things stand out to me. First of all, if I want the Pacers, I definitely want them as a dog. I don't want to lay points with the Pacers because they're not a great team defensively. And if you're laying points, you need them to be able to get stopped. The Pacers finished 16-11 against the spread, 59.3% on the season when they were road dogs. 8-5-1 against the spread if they were road dogs coming off a loss, 61.5%. So the number, gets better when they're coming off a loss. And I do think that they're going to be super locked in and focused. I think they probably felt like they had that game taken away from them. And they did, because it wasn't a kickball. If you guys saw Aaron Nesmith, and unfortunately it wasn't a challengeable play, but his hands hit the ball, not necessarily his foot. So I do like I like all of these angles to kind of support the Pacers in this spot. I know that their bench outplayed the Pacers, the New York Knicks bench, and it wasn't even really close. It wasn't close at all. And I do think that, it's probably going to happen again. The Pacers have a much better bench, in my opinion, especially now that you're down Mitchell Robinson. And also, I like that the Pacers didn't get dominated on the offensive glass. You guys can see over here that, offensive rebounds was 7-8. The Knicks ended up getting one more offensive rebound. And if they're not able to get those offensive rebounds, because the Pacers are a much better, rebounding team, I think the Pacers can hang with the Knicks, man. I really, really do. So like I said, the only way I'm looking in this game is towards the Pacers. Last thing I want to point out, Mr. Tyrese Halliburton. This isn't going to cut it. You lost the game. You covered the spread, right? They were 5.5-point dogs, 5.5-point dogs. And Tyrese Halliburton had this game. 6 points on 2 for 6 shooting, 2 for 5 from the three-point line, 8 assists and 3 turnovers. 2 key turnovers in the last 3 minutes of play as well. That you could say kind of turned the game in there, against them as well. And one of the beat writers, or one of the people that cover the Pacers had this tweet, and I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to put it on the screen, that Tyrese Halliburton was last in points scored. You guys can see 6, last in field goals made, 2 out of the 9 Pacers players that played. And if, like he says, if you're the franchise leader of a playoff team, you have to play better, plain and simple. So with the Pacers losing that game but covering the spread, that's the only way I'm looking, is towards the Pacers in this spot. I think Tyrese Halliburton will be a little bit better in today's game. I think he will be a little bit more aggressive in today's game. So Pacers plus the 5 is the way I'm looking. The one thing that was holding me up, I did find a super strong trend that says that you don't back the road dog if they covered but didn't win game 1. So since 2016, road dogs who covered game 1, which the Pacers did, but didn't win, it says that the home favorite, typically wakes up in this spot. Those road dogs in game 2 are 1-13 straight up, and just 4-10 against the spread in game number 2s. So it's difficult. It's a difficult game, but I'm still only looking towards the Pacers. I just wanted to share that trend for people who did like the Knicks in this spot. But yeah, I think the outlier, performances from 3. And then real quick on the total, I wrote some stuff down, but did not put it on a graphic. Game 1 finished with 238 points being scored. The pace was 95.5 per 100 possessions. Possessions per 100 per 48 minutes, and both teams had an offensive rating that was north of 120. I don't think we necessarily see that again here in this spot. I see the total coming down. It's all the way up to 223 on Circa, but it's all the way down to 221.5 on bookmakers, and you can kind of find everything in between. This total is already up. I kind of wanted to play the over, but I kind of feel like I want to think about it a little bit more. So Pacers shot 52% from the field and 38% from the 38.5% from the 3-point line. I'm not sure if they shoot the ball that well again. I know that the Pacers are an offensive team, but shooting 52% against the Knicks, not quite sure about that. The Knicks actually shot 57% from the field and 48% from the free throw line. I don't think the Knicks are going to shoot that well either. I know that the Pacers are the greatest road team, but like I said, off a loss, they typically play a little bit better on the road. So I would be looking towards, ugly as it sounds, I think I'd be looking more towards an under in this spot, thinking that we see some aggression here. As I say that, the total comes down from 223 down to 222 on Circa and down to 221 at other books. So I feel like the public is going to be on the over in this spot. It makes sense because, like I said, 238 points scored in game 1. But I think it was outlier shooting performances from the 3-point line. And I think both of these teams play a little bit better. I also don't think the Pacers bench is going to be as efficient. I think everybody on their bench shot above 50%. All of those guys, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, all of those guys played really, really well. Shepherd off the bench. So yeah, towards the total, I think I'd be looking towards the under, but I don't know if I'm confident enough to play tonight. Because both of these teams were playing with pace, and the Knicks did kind of push the pace. And Josh Hart came out in the middle of the game when he was getting interviewed and did say that they wanted to run. He said they wanted to run. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this before we jump into a quick recap. Oscar says Pacers money line here. Brian says good morning, Chris. Nice favorites victories yesterday. Let's go. Yeah, favorites in game 1 typically cash, especially if you can find a lot to cash on them. Mark says he bet all 4 on the list yesterday. Glad you cashed them, Mark. David likes Pacers 118 to 104. So a winner for the Pacers here. I think you also could look towards the Pacers team total under if you wanted to play a total in this game. Pacers team total over. I was looking at it right before this started. You can get a 108.5 for the Pacers team total if you think that they can score 59 points per half here, which seems pretty doable. Especially if the Knicks are going to play fast. Let's see what else y'all seeing here. PZ says top of the morning. Appreciate that. Tasha says she likes the Pacers first half plus the points, and Josh Hart over his 15 points and rebounds. Over 15 points in rebounds and over 12 in Pacers team total over. Tasha like a lot in this game. Yeah, I kind of feel like this as well, Robert R. I gave you guys the numbers, right? 238 points scored in game 1, pace 95.5. Both teams were looking to run. They shot really, really well. I don't expect both teams to have an offensive rating of 120 again. That's a tad bit too high. I know that these teams don't necessarily like the Knicks are like kind of, in my opinion, the Knicks are like a fake good defensive team. They rebound the basketball and they play hard, but their defense is not that good. If you go through and look at the advanced numbers, and that's what's kind of keeping me off because I talked about liking the Pacers team total over in game 1. I talked about liking the full over in game 1. And you see, like I said, the Pacers come out there and, score the basketball. They allowed the Indiana Pacers to shoot 52% from the floor and 38.5% from the field. But it does kind of feel like a trap. Could I be overanalyzing it? Potentially. We'll see what happens. I'll probably stay away from the total in this one. Michael says, thanks for the 4 winners yesterday. Appreciate it, Chris. Glad we could bounce back after the Denver Nuggets did not show up on Monday night. What up, Dano? Appreciate you for tapping in. Tasha liked the Pacers on the money line. Markel says Isaiah Hartenstein double-double tonight. Dano says, yeah, at one point the Pacers bench was outscoring them 46-3. I remember this as well. I think this was like the beginning of the fourth quarter. I saw that as well. And the Knicks the Pacers should get a favorable whistle here. Refs was giving New York foul calls. Brunson throw himself all over the floor and then get the call. I agree there. Brian says Pacers trifecta tonight. Believe in those numbers bounce back. Thanks for the work, Chris. Let's cash. Yeah, Pacers in a really good spot tonight. Like I said, it's the only way I'm looking. Jay Click don't like Holly. What else y'all saying in the chat? AOD says Holly cost him. Davis says Holly about to bounce back. He likes him to go for 20 and 12 and 3 threes. He says I've seen it all season. Corey says Holly doesn't look confident shooting the ball or attacking the rim. I think you got to trust your work, but confidence shows up, Corey, when you're not shooting the ball. Like 6 shots, that's not gonna get it done. And I get it, your teammates were cooking, right? Everybody else shot the ball really, really well, but you got to find a way to assert yourself. And as a point guard, you would think that he would, but I think I would kind of agree with this. 6 shots is not gonna get it done. Davis is lying down to 4.5 now. I think I saw 5 on FanDuel. It is 4.5 on most books, but I definitely want the 5 if I'm playing it. Mark says, do you think the spread will move back to 5? It should, like I said, it should be a 5 right now on FanDuel. You guys check that out for me. PZ like McBride under 8.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Says only playing like 10 minutes per game. Okay. Robert says going to do a parlay and give the Pacers some extra spread points. Think they could win or cover, but want the extra with the lean. Oh yeah, that 5 is gone. When I started the show this morning, it was +5. I do see a 4.5 everywhere right now. And if I had to play it, it would be Pacers +4.5 here. Dano likes Hardenstein double as well, +130. James says Pacers bench will win the bench points every game this series. And it's difficult to disagree with that, James. I kind of agree with that. 2LA says both teams are high power offense. Defense will also lack. I could see that. I could definitely see that. PZ likes Pacers +4.5 for nothing here as well. John says I took Halliburton 25 points, 25.5 points and assists. Real low for him. Yeah, I mean, at that low number, John, I would only play over. I'd be scared to play the under, especially if you expect some regression from the Pacers bench and some of their role players. I mean, they got some really good contributions from some of their role players. Still wasn't enough though. Pacers win tonight, and I ain't a Pacers fan. Okay. Jamie says he grabbed the +5.5, attended a lot of the Pacers game this season, and Rick always has the guys ready after a loss. The numbers support it. The numbers definitely support it here. Mark says Pacers rolled all game until the last 5 minutes of the game. Brunson always seems to turn it on the last few minutes. That's what I said. I like the Pacers again. Yeah, the Knicks do find a way to win. I mean, it's a lot of effort towards the end of the game. Like, they are a scrappy team. Whether it's offensive rebounds, being first on the floor to the ball. Like, the Knicks are a really tough team to beat because if the game's close, they do find a way to win. We saw that in the first round against the Philadelphia 76ers as well. What up to my guy LJ? He says he's going back. He says, what up, Chris? He got Brunson, 25 points. Josh Hart, 12 rebounds. DiVincenzo, 3 threes at +209. 1-0 so far in the series. I remember him dropping this off in the last one. Dante DiVincenzo hit 5 threes. He went 5 for 9. I do expect some aggression. Could he hit 3? I could see it. Brunson getting into the paint should create some opportunities for him here. Jamie says staying off the side, taking Hardenstein points and assists at -130 on FanDuel. They have a boost. I want to enjoy the game with minimal stress. Mom is just a bet, likes McConnell over his 10.5 points. James says fake defense. I don't know about that. What I'm saying is when I think about the Knicks, fake defense might be a stretch, James. You couldn't call me out on that. That's cool. What I'm saying here is that the Knicks defensive metrics are not as good as they look, especially throughout the first round and the first game of the playoffs so far. They play slow, and if you go in and look, Philly was scoring the basketball. The Pacers scored the basketball in game 1. So the pace always makes the defense look a little bit better. Just think about the Orlando Magic. They play super slow. The defensive numbers were good. When you get in fast-paced games and you still can play good defense, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think it's a tad bit different. think it's a tad bit different. Snag says he cashed on Daniel Gafford at plus 750 for his double-double last night. Prolific says no picks. You see, you're not a member, Prolific. I gave up Boston first half yesterday. And I had some other looks on the short list as well. What up, Melvin? He says, top of the morning. What do you think about Obi Toppin over his 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists? He had 21 in game one. Yeah, I can see him having another big game here. Being in New York, being back at the Garden. He did shoot the ball really, really well. Attack the rim without Mitchell Robinson being out there. They lose rim protection as well for that second unit. I can see it. I could definitely see it. Let's see. Brian says, Chris, that 1-13 ATS road dog after cover, those playoff numbers that query. I like Indiana, but these numbers have been hidden. But this is hard to ignore, and that's why I didn't pull the trigger yet, Brian. That's a fact. If you listen to, if you joined late, what I said was that since 2016, road dogs who covered but lost game one are 1-13 straight up, 4-10 against the spread in game twos. It's really scary to bet against something that's hitting at hitting at 60% since 2016. Miles Turner under 7.5 rebounds, low key underrated pick. I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on this, so I don't want to tell you anything. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, Justin. A lot of comments. I'm trying to get through them. Tasha says, thanks, Chris, for a good show today. Usually I hit the thumbs up. Appreciate that, Tasha. And let's see. DJ Prop says Boston's second quarter spread seems to be hitting almost as consistently as the Warriors' third quarter from a few years ago. It's because their second unit really doesn't drop off a lot. I think Tatum typically gets an early rest and Jaylen Brown plays most of the first quarter, and then Tatum comes back early in the second. So that makes a ton of sense, perhaps, especially if they, for some reason don't cover the first quarter. And Bitsy also likes Obi Toppin over his 14.5 points plus rebounds, kept the assists out of this one. Couldn't talk you off, man. So quick recap. Let's go through it. Like I said, Pacers, plus the 5, because that was a number before maybe we watch it throughout the day. But plus 4.5, plus 5, I think is the best play. Have I played it yet? No, but I'm not looking towards the Knicks, man. Like I said, the Pacers, if you take them, you want to do it as dogs. That's when they typically are profitable. So far this season, they are 59% as road dogs, and coming off a loss, 61.5% if they're road dogs as well. And like I said, if they're playing the same team that they just lost to, they have covered every single one of those spreads. They've actually won every single one of those games, and they've gone over their team totals. If you go back and reference, the first graphic one of the first graphics that I showed. So only looking towards the Pacers today. Best of luck if you guys are liking the Knicks. I didn't play any player props at all, and like I said, the total is a little scary to me, man. But I can kind of see both ways, so I'll stay off the total in this one. Best of luck on all your action for today, man. I hope you guys cash whatever it is that you do play. And real quick, we'll talk about, just go over some of the resources. I always want to shout out OddsJam for being the best sports betting software in the world. If you guys are interested, especially as we get closer to WNBA and checking out what they have to offer, definitely use code CBC to sign up to get 25% off your first month. But also all the other numbers, all the other resources that I use are here as well. Always wanting to share these so you guys can, become more profitable sports bettors as well. Those are what I use. And that's it, man. If you guys found the show helpful, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share the show, subscribe if you guys are new. Link to all my official plays is posted in the description. Best of luck on all your action, and bet responsibly today. Also, members, don't forget to predict the score to win the t-shirt. Let me know what side you like today and what the predicted score is going to be. The winner will be announced tomorrow, and I will send out some t-shirts to James today. As soon as you reach back out to me, James, let me know what size and what address. All right, best of luck to you guys today, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I am out.